Welcome to this episode of Watchcasting Star Wars, the Dark Side Edition. I've been wanting to do this episode since I did the episode for the Matrix Watchcasting. Check that one out if you hadn't, because this one was the first one I came up with, and it just so happened that the Matrix selections came together a little bit more quickly than this one. But ton of fun for you, and stay tuned for Watches of the Force in the next Watchcasting episode. Before we jump into the fun, www.hobbyofhours.com. Get you a mug, get you a book, get you some artwork, and t-shirt samples are on the way, so stay tuned for all that good fun. Without further ado, we turn to the dark side. Some of these watches are going to be practical ones for the characters. Other ones are just going to be comedy. And this one is a little bit of both. If we were going to put a watch on the wrist of a stormtrooper, Apple Watch, perfect one for them. If there's any evil dark forces in watch world, it is probably the smartwatch. But, you know, also infinitely practical for the stormtrooper lifestyle. Darth. I've got a couple watches for Darth, and this one is the one that kicked it all off for me. This is by Chopard, and it is literally called the Imperial Chronograph. Wow, those lugs even look like lightsabers, albeit good force lightsabers with the blue, but come on, he started out good. I don't know that necessarily Anakin or Darth would wear this watch, but I have to say, pretty epically, hilariously funny with the Imperial Chronograph name. I didn't really go down the rabbit hole of a young character versus old character, but with this one, a suitable alternate if you didn't care for the Chopard. This is the Omega Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon, Team Alinghi. And Team Alinghi, if I'm saying that right, is a sailing team. And, you know, sailing these catamaran yachts is pretty much the closest to pod racing we're going to get. And if you zoom up in there, you'll see at 6 o'clock that Padme, Queen Amidala, is in the subdial. Omega didn't release this. This is a little bit of Photoshop from yours truly. But a pretty epic substitute if you don't like the Chopard. Next up, the Emperor. And of course, Jacob & Co., Astronomia. He is a ruler of worlds, total power fiend. And if you look super duper close, you'll see the Death Star at 9 o'clock, and Naboo is the planet at the center of the Astronomia. Just another way he likes to keep control of Mr. Vader, Lord Vader there, by constantly reminding him about Queen Amidala. That's how he keeps his stranglehold on our main man, Darth Vader. And why not cast a watch for the Death Star while we're at it? Duh. Big Ben, the biggest watch I know, and the most hilarious installation on the Death Star itself. On to some of the secondary characters in the story. Bobafett. This was also a bit of a slam dunk. I don't know if you ever heard of sniper watches. Kind of a gimmick watch, but they sell a watch. It's really rather large. And it has on the left side a bunch of attachments you can put on there. I don't know that they have a grappling hook, but dang, this flame torch is not actually a torch, it's to light your cigar, but that is right up the alley of Mr. Fett, and I forget what some of the other attachments are, but I think a grappling hook would certainly be apropos for Sniper to add. Jabba. Poor Jabba getting choked out by that Instagram model posing in her spicy bathing suit. Look, something right out of the cases of Trax jewelry. And ultimately, Flavor Flav approved, Jabba would definitely rock a neck clock. Bit of a controversial one. Okay, Lando kind of started out as a baddie. I mean, we certainly saw his behavior in the standalone movie Solo, and was cheating at that card game. And he started out as a bit of a D-bag in this one, turning the team over. But ultimately, he did end up on the good side of the Force, and if I'm being honest, I needed to bring balance to the deck, and I needed an extra person in this one, and I could totally see him rocking this Rolex Daytona, especially if it was the Donald Glover era Lando, maybe more so than the Billy D, but he would totally rock this Rainbow Daytona. And there you have it, watch casting for the dark side of the Force. I'll end this one with a story where the Empire Strikes D years ago when I went to see it, Empire Strikes Back, in the theater. My mom dropped me and my buddy Greg off. We're at the front. We had to go around the building to get to the back of the line. And as we're going past, there's these couple of nerds. I hear the one say to the other, "Oh, I'm so excited we're seeing it again." And then the other one says to him, "I know, I can't believe Darth is Luke's dad." And I hear it going off in my head, and my brain puts all these connections together. And that's about the closest I'll ever come to getting shell-shocked. But why would you say that in a line of people who are probably there for the first time? Part of me wishes I could find that person and force choke them for what they did to me, with the tiny hope that they never saw Titanic. The boat sinks in the end, and there was plenty of room for Jack to end up on that door, that piece of wood. Anywho, this has been your watchcasting for Star Wars Part 1, and looking forward to doing Part 2. Hope that wherever you are in this wonderful, beautiful hobby of ours, that the Force is with you. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Dude, that was awesome! Pick up a book. 1001 Watch Designs, Volume 1. We've got line art, oil paintings, steampunk, and even super duper realistic ones. Ones that you could probably put on your wrist today. It's a good bit of fun and a great way to share your support. Thanks for coming along on the ride.